In this video, I'm going to take you through how to create a basic alberta.ca account. So if you have already assessed your eligibility for AOS or Rural Renewal Scheme, then you need to know that these two streams are non-express entry based stream, which means that your express entry account that you would have created for Ircc will not work here. So for that, you need a alberta.ca account specifically to apply for AOS and RRS, which is Alberta Opportunity Stream and Rural Renewal Scheme. Okay? But for that, I think the first step is to create the alberta.ca account. So let me take you through the process of creating the basic account and then how to use that account for your PNP application. Please bear in mind, this is only for PNP application. Once you get approved for your PNP, then you need to apply for the PR. So the access to PR portal is different. That is provided by Ircc, and this portal that I am going to take you through is the alberta.ca portal only. Okay, so let's get to it. This brings you to the landing page. So I will copy a link of this landing page and provide you, so you can use this link to access this particular portal. Just like any regular portal, if you already have access, click on sign in and enter your username or password. Otherwise, you just need to get started. There are some health warnings here. What if you already have an alberta.ca account, what to do, what not to do. So you can go through this. But for the purpose of this video, I'm assuming that you guys are new and want to create a new application, right? Then there are something like what if you change address or your email address after you submit applications. Please go through it. It has quite a few details. So let's click on get started. Get started takes you to this page, which is basically a sign-in page for the alberta.ca account, but we don't want to sign in, but we want to create a new account. So this, if you already have a username, password, then just click here and create account. For the purpose of this video, obviously I'm not going to reveal my personal email or anything like that. I'm just using some dummy email IDs, but I think you will get an idea. Okay, username, just create a username, put a email ID, put an email ID, confirm your email ID, and just put a password that you can remember. There are some rules of the passwords you can read here, pretty much standard. Your passwords obviously should match, and then the username, your first name and last name. After this, you click on to agree the terms of use, and then just verify your information, and if information is correct, click on submit. What happens after you do submit? After you submit, you get a email ID, you get a email, you get a confirmation email which you need to confirm. So this step is basically confirming your identity. So obviously this part is, well, I just use a dummy email, so you would have got a dummy email which will kind of expire in 96 hours, but go to your inbox and verify your email ID with your username and password. That I don't think I need to cover in this video. That's pretty standard whenever you sign up into any account. Okay, so next what I'll do, I'll log into the account and then take you through the process. Okay, so now we are back after verification of our account, and this is the landing page after you log in. Here you will see there are three sections. Okay, there is something called create expression of interest, there is something called create new application, and then there is something called create new request. So if you click on create expression of interest, here it will take you through the streams in which AIP is accepting the expression of interest. So these are the streams which are kind of ran by AIP and in which you can express your interest. So if you are eligible as, say you want to apply for foreign graduate entrepreneur stream or rural entrepreneur stream, then you can submit a expression of interest, and based on that AIP will issue you a notification of interest. So note this, expression of interest is largely for the entrepreneur stream. So all the three streams or the options available here is for entrepreneur stream, right? So this is not for a worker, and I assume that most of us who are looking at this video fall in the category of workers. So let's look into the worker section. Next section is create new application. Okay, so if you click here, you will get here the application for PNP. So there is Alberta opportunity stream, and then there is rural renewal stream. So these two are the sections where if you are eligible. Now let me again take a pause here and explain this very clearly. The onus of checking eligibility, meeting the eligibility, submitting all the documents is on you. So if you think that you are eligible for Alberta opportunity stream, come and create an application. You will not get an invitation or anything like that to apply for Alberta opportunity stream or rural renewal stream. You come here, you create an application, you pay your fees, and that is how you would submit the details. Okay, this detail would go to AIP. They will review your application. If they find everything is fine, then they will issue you a notification, right? So I'll come to the details of each of these sections in a while, but let me just go to the other section that was available there. So on the landing page, there is one more thing called create new request. Let's see what's in that. If you click on create a new request, so this section becomes enabled after you have submitted an application. So after you submit an application, you can submit a request to do whatever, to request to update any information or request some kind of service. So if you look down here, there would be no way, like if you have just logged in for the first time, you will not see any process of submitting a request or anything like that. And that is because you have not submitted an application. So this is a brand new account, and that's the reason there is no option to submit a request. And then obviously these three sections are to just check the status of your application. So these are very self-explanatory. I am not going to click on those. Let's click on create new application. Again, as I said, these are the two streams where you can directly apply to Alberta, and you, if you are eligible for one of those streams, you can use this portal to submit your application. Okay, this is still a unverified account, so you are just submitting your application here, right? If you click on Alberta opportunity stream, you see obviously that you must review the Alberta immigration program criteria, that you submit, that you meet, that you think you meet all the application criteria. You must meet all the criteria before submitting an application, which is obvious. You have to submit a list of documents, and then everything else, right? So by clicking continue, you are acknowledging that you have verified yourself that you are eligible for AOS. Next, you click on next. You see I have read, say next. So next, so this is not a very long form, right? It has these sections that needs to be filled, and some of them are pretty standard. I would say these are pretty standard things. You can easily fill up these details. Let's see what sections we have here. Contact information, your name, work experience, your name, email ID, address, date of birth, pretty basic address, pretty basic details that they are asking. Then there is a section for work experience. Then if you are working for a trade, then there is a trade occupation information, education, language, spouse information. If you have any relatives in Canada, you fill that here. Address history, you fill your address history. Ircc application history. Program information, I think they will give you some kind of information about the program. Alternative contact. Then there is a bunch of forms that you need to fill up, and then the document checklist. So I would say it's pretty basic. I think we can just do something. So for example, I would say no, I would say 1st January 1970. What is your intended province territory? Obviously, this has to be Alberta. Intended thing has to be Alberta. Sorry. Country of birth. Put your country of birth as your real. Mine is India. So let me put India. Right. So let's do this. City of town of birth. Anything. Country citizenship, if you are just applying, then India. Then phone number 444. Yeah, I think this is just an address. Address 1. I'm just putting a address, right? Say if you are living in Canada, put Canada address, like say for example Calgary, Canada. Or this is not just for like okay, I am applying for AOS, so yes, address is expected of Canada. Again, they have pre-selected. And since you must already live in Alberta, so yeah. Then what? T1, T1, something like that, right? Let's put same as residential address, and we click on save. It will basically validate your information on this page, and then you go to the next line. Right, so this is the address that you put, and then you click on next. This was the section of your personal information. Let's say total of work experience to date. Are you working is an occupation that is regulated in Alberta? Not trades, like most of the like electrician or something, like if you are working in a regulated trade, you will know that your trade is regulated. You need some kind of licensing or something like that. So you would say no. So I'm indicating that I'm not working in a regulated occupation. So there is no license, registration or requirements for this occupation. So it all depends on what kind of required. Since I don't have any license, I'm just filling up. I don't need any license or certificate for this demo, but depending on what kind of license you have, just put your license here. Current job title, something. From date, say I'm working in Alberta from January 2020. To date, let it be today's date. Normally that's what we do. We just put today's date. Let's put NOC code. Put a NOC code, like I'm just putting a demo 10012. Okay, 10012. Annually we say 120,000. Hourly hours per week, say 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40. Again, this is not what you should fill. This is just for a demo. So just enter your information. I'm just trying to show you what goes here, right? Someplace LLC, you just put the address number. Again, put address of the company and address of the company, and what all details that they would need, and I think that's it, right? Employer contact, yeah, okay, first name, sorry, James Webb, manager, jameswebb@gmail.com, business phone number 555. Yeah, I'm just going to give it here. Next comes the work history. So if you have worked any kind of work history, then you just add it for in the past 30 months. So entire work history for each of the employer in the past 30 months. So say I am saying that I've been working here since 3 years, right? So I think I should be good. Here I have entered for 36 months. I would click save. Let's see. Yep, I just clicked on save and I say next. Okay, I think it's going on. I'm just checking if the recording is going on fine. So this is how you enter. Okay, perhaps it takes a bit of time. Is your occupation currently considered a trade in Alberta? If your occupation is a trade like electrician, worker, construction person, then you can click yes. I just set myself as purchase manager, so no, it's not. Again, save. Very important, save your application at every time, right? So that you don't lose your work. Click next. Highest level of education completed. Put your education. How many years you have spent in elementary or primary school. How many years in high school, university, college, university, trade, or any other, like if you have done any kind of post-graduation diploma or something, put that. And then this is your total application, right? So this is how you do it. And then you say add education history. So here is basically you would put the name of your college, in which city, in which country. Say I did my education from India, right? I'm not taking that. If you have done your education from Canada, you can also put it here. I'm just putting India. Mine was bachelor's in procurement. I'm just making up things. It's just that I just don't. So it was a bachelor's degree, say from 1st January 2016 to 31st December 19, 4 years, right? Have you obtained that ECA? You should obtain an ECA for this credential, so you should say yes. From which organization? Like if you have got it from WES, select WES, put the date of assessment. Say if you have done it very recently, put the date of assessment. This information should be available on the certificate of WES. I'm just taking an example. To date is required. Okay, level of bachelor's degree. What mistake did I do here? 31/12/2019. Is that not correct? Oh, okay. It should be 12/31/2019. Okay. I think the format was wrong. Okay. Save. So you do this and then again save your records and let's go next. Your records are saved. Verify. Click next. Desired language of assessment, language of communication, English, native language, whatever what your native language is. Do they have it here? Let's see. Yep, they have it. Just put your native language. Purchasing manager will be highlighted in your current employment, will be used to verify eligibility of test scores. Yes, so whatever NOC you have put, it will be used. They will see that whether you need any kind of language assessment test, or if you have any kind of language assessment test. Obviously you need to have a language assessment. Say you gave Fswp, say test date was very recently 30th November. In listening you got 888. Okay, if you want to add any other language assessment, so you can add it, but otherwise you can just save your record. So this section was basically for your language. Next section is for spouse. So let's go next. If you are married, put married. Are you including your spouse in the application? Say yes. Put the name of your spouse. What was my name? Web. Okay, some name. Female. $1970. Do you have children? Then yes. If you have children, then add dependent. Say web. Given name John. Say you have a kid. What should I say? 2010 maybe. Relationship child. Save. So this is basically your spouse and your dependent section that you are entering here. Save your record. It will again show up for verification. Just verify your records. Everything is okay. Then let's go to the next section. Again, if you don't have a spouse, you would just say no. Do you, your spouse, have any relatives in Canada? No. Yes. If you say yes, you will have to just add their details, right? Like for example, let's say we have let's make up a name here, right? Let's surname was Harry. Where do they live? Okay, let's say they live in Alberta. Yeah, my cursor was dying. Say they are living in Idri. Years spent in Canada, 20 years. Relationship. What should I say? Pick anything like okay, like first cousin. Okay. And then say save. So again, if you don't have a relative in Canada, don't fill anything. If you have, fill it up. Right? I just showed you how to fill it up. What all data points you might need for filling up the details. List all address history since is all address where you have lived since your 18th birthday for the past 10 years, whichever is most recent. And then you should include the current address, and for the date use today's date. Okay, so whichever is most recent, right? If you are basically for the last 10 years, you just need to add your history for 10 years. So for example, I am in Canada from 2020 to date is today's date. This is the standard, right? If to date is mandatory in any form, you can enter today's date. You don't have to, right? You don't have to worry about any other thing. Say you are living in Calgary, Alberta, and then say you say Canada, and then you say save. basically you're putting your address history. You have to include last 10 years. So say, let's say from 1st Jan 2000 to December 31st, 2019. I was living in, again, a different city. Just address, right? Say I was living in Mumbai, right, for the last 20 years. Just search India, select, save. So pretty standard formation, right? Just enter the address and your history of your residence and then click on next. Are you currently residing in Alberta under a work permit issued by Ircc? Yes. Say you are working for, I don't know, like intercompany transfer, right? So say my unique number is something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Say my expiry is still few years away. Are you currently in Federal Express Entry pool? Answer honestly, yes or no. If you are applying for AOS, you don't need to be on Express Entry pool, so you can very well select no, but you can also say yes. If you say yes, they will ask you for Express Entry number, and you can provide your Express Entry number. This is a job seeker validation code. So I have a short on how to find this job seeker validation code. Job seeker validation code is something which is available on the invitation letter that you get. Not really an invitation letter. When you create your Express Entry profile, you get a PDF. In that PDF, it's kind of a welcome letter. In that welcome letter, there is a 4-digit job seeker validation code, which you basically use to register yourself in the job banks. So use that. Okay. Do your spouse have any application or were refused or withdrawn for you or your spouse or any kind of dependent children? Mostly it should say no. So I just say yes. Okay. So you just fill it up. Okay. So once you fill it up, just save and click next. Okay. How did you learn about this? Is just, I think, just a survey kind of a thing. So you can say who told you about it, right? Anything you want to say. Maybe you got this from Ircc. Select whatever is applicable. How did you hear about the program? This, I think they are just trying to gather some information. Candidate declaration is next. Here you just here I think you are entering an alternate contact, right? So let me put my wife, judy@web@gmail.com. Her number is 888-888-888. Okay, that's the phone number. Don't call this number. Save. Say next. Let's see what else is here. Candidate declaration. These are the candidate declaration. Read through it, checking the box that you are saying everything is correct. I'm not going to submit it. I'm anyways going to delete this application, so I need not worry about that. So I'm just kind of proceeding to show you the next stage. Okay, next is what? AOS application. Again, you have to acknowledge here, go next, save your acknowledgement and click on next. Next. Did you use a representative? Right? If you have used any kind of representative, then say yes, otherwise say no. If you are using a representative, then then you have to submit some document, I think, on representation. Right? So you just read through it, save, say next. Has anyone provided with the immigration advice? If you have not used, I would always say don't use any kind of this is, you've seen how simple it is to fulfill an application, right? So yeah, you don't need it. I don't recommend. So say no. And if you are filling it up yourself, you should say no, because you are the only person who is filling it up, right? So we are almost at the end of it. Now comes the part of documentation, right? Obviously, let's see. I will not have application. I will not have the documentations to submit, but let's go through it. Valid passports. I don't need to explain what a valid passport is. Work permit. Again, very self-explanatory. A copy of your work permit. Language assessment. Your English or French CLB, either from Cellpape, IELTS, or any of the registered organizations. Labor market assessment or evidence of exemption. So okay, this is again very important thing. So LMIA, in many of my videos have already covered this concept that LMIA is not always mandatory. So there are scenarios where LMIA could be exempt. So if you have a LMIA, upload a copy of LMIA. If you don't have a LMIA, then provide evidence of exemption. Evidence of exemption would be something like, for example, your work permit, right? So if you have in your work permit, it should have LMIA number, or it should say exempt. So you can just upload the evidence of exemption. In many companies, there is a lawyer filing also. There is a document which says LMIA exemption. You can copy. You can provide a copy of that also if you get from your company lawyer. Otherwise, I would say use your copy of again, just upload a copy of a work permit here with which says that your LMIA is exempt. Education. This education is basically all your documentation of your ECAs and your certificates, graduation, diploma, everything. You just upload all the copies. Just do a scan in one copy and upload as one file here. Employment reference. Reference letter is very important. You would need that even when you apply for your PR. Reference letter is like a experience letter, right? With from your employer for your current work that you are doing. What kind of work you are doing, how much you are doing, what's your designation, what's your hours, everything. This is a very important document, and this is used for validating your NOC. So say you have declared a NOC in the application, and then how does the immigration officer know that the work you are doing is the correct NOC? So then this is where the employment reference comes into picture. I have a video of employment reference document in my channel, or what I have done is there is a template of a reference letter also in the shared drive, so you can look into that, how an employment reference letter looks like. Alberta job offer and contract. So Alberta job offer and contract is mandatory, so you just need to submit a copy of your job offer. Pay statements. Again, self-explanatory. You can upload the pay statements. dependent authorization form. This is a form if you are applying with your dependents. So then you just need to use this particular form. Let me see if there is a checklist here which we can download. Yeah, there is a checklist here which we can download. Let's see. Let me open it in the next page. Let's see if this opens up. Okay, so this link is not working. Let's see if I click here, does it download? Nope, I think document has moved or something. Okay. So you would just apply all your documents, click on save, and then click on next. Okay, so make sure that you have submitted all your mandatory documents. Just for the purpose of this demo, I've just uploaded a file in each of these documents and just click on save and then say next. How long is this video? 34 minutes. So see, this work can be done within an hour and you don't need to involve any person. Right now, did you guys see anything that I have done which you cannot do yourself? We filled up all the form in like 40 minutes or so, right? We went through each of the sections. There are some of the sections which might not be applicable to you. So still we were able to complete it in like what, 40 minutes. So it's again proves my point that you don't need any kind of consultant or anybody to fill up this form. All the documents should be available with you. One important thing here while uploading documents, I just uploaded a bunch of documents just to show you how to upload, just to proceed to the next step. But after you select a file, make sure you click this particular arrow button. This is very important to upload. So just choosing the file is not enough. Click on this arrow button and it will save your record and then you can proceed to the next part. Okay, so after you have done, click save. Hopefully this will accept everything and then you will go to the next stage of the final part of the application. So we are almost done. Let's see. Is it done? Yep, I think document checklist is done. Then I just come here, click on next. And then this is just the final leg, or as we call in Formula One as the home stretch. Let's see. Next, I think it's kind of gives you the full application that you can verify your application if everything that you have filled is correct or not. You just verify your full application here. This is all the declarations, all the application that you have done here. You just verify everything and just click on next. I think this is the stage at which it will ask for your fees, right? Let's see. I think that's the last step of paying the fees. Obviously, I cannot pay the fees online, so I will stop the demo at this point. But yeah, so here is basically once you have click on submit application and then you pay this $500 fees. You will have 24 hours to pay the fees, and then after you submit, you can submit your application and then it will take you to the final stage of paying the fees. So obviously I cannot cover that part in this particular demo, but I think that we went through enough sections here, all the sections here one by one for AOS, and I hope that you now understand how to fill up this application. Right? So I hope this demo helps you, and if anything, if you like the work I'm doing, please consider joining this channel. And this is the WhatsApp group barcode. This group is now currently full, but if you're watching it say 1 year down the line, 6 months down the line, keep trying. You might just get through. Okay. So thank you everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.